Hello YouTube, and welcome to another video on Atlanta to Dallas aviation. Today I have another unboxing. I got these 4 models yesterday to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. No, they weren't planned to be here on St. Patrick's Day or anything, and they're not St. Patrick's Day theme. That's just when they came. And I also got in that in those 2 boxes, I also got myself a couple of extra metal stands to put some models up on in my main display cabinet. It helps to get more models in there, so I got these 2, and these also help me reach my $150 minimum to get free shipping, so I got those. But that's not what you're interested in. You're interested in model airplanes, by golly. So that's what we're going to do. So here you see the 4 that I got here, just a little teaser. I went ahead and took them out of the box that they get shipped in, because that would just take extra time, and my videos run a little bit long anyway. So I went ahead and unpacked them, but I have not actually opened them. Except I did open this one because my first attempt to do this video, I did not check my battery life, and my battery died on me, so I'm having to do this all over again. But that was the only model that I had opened. So we'll get right back to it. And what we have here from Blue Box, we have this Delta 737-200, and as you can see, the item number up here, Bravo Bravo X-ray 41639, and the registration there, November 301 Delta Lima, and it's just in the little blue box, which usually indicates that it wasn't a licensed model. So makes it a little bit harder for Delta to come after anyone. But I did pick this one up from Aero Classics Direct, which usually only sells Aero Classics and via Aero Classics models. So I'm not saying Blue Box is Aero Classics, but I'm just saying that I got it from the Aero Classics Direct website. So let's take a look at this model. Alrighty. Nice and up close here, I hope. In general, a very nice shape. I almost didn't get it, even though Delta Classic livery is like almost #1 priority. So if I see one of these, I typically am going to get it and have to sacrifice something else if this takes me over budget. But I have 2 other 737-200s in this livery, so I almost passed on this. Now that I have it, of course, I'm glad I didn't, but I almost passed on it. and only because Aero Classics just hasn't really updated anything. They don't put any aerials or anything like that, but the mold itself is pretty decent. And I don't often have a lot of problem with molds unless it's just grievously horrible. As long as it looks reasonably proportioned and looks like what it's supposed to look like, I'm really more about the printing detail. And on this particular model, the only thing I didn't like about it is, as you can see back here in the red area down here, it's squared off. Well, that isn't supposed to be squared off. That's supposed to be a sharp angle. So it shouldn't be squared off. And unfortunately, it's the same way on the other side. And my guess with this is, so here you have it again, right there. Doesn't look like it's quite as bad on this side as on the other side. But my guess is that the vertical stabilizer is a separate piece that they glue in to the fuselage portion of the mold. And my guess is that this red part is painted all the way down to the end of the piece. And the reason this is squared off is because it's not all the way down, or they just painted it a little bit too far up because they wanted to make sure that when you inserted the vertical stabilizer, it didn't cut off part of what you were supposed to see. So it's not too bad. You really just can't go wrong with classic livery, even if that part isn't quite right. So that's just pretty minor. And then cockpit windows look good. The passenger window line looks good. And now I will have to say that the one thing I do like about Aero Classic models, I think I have come to like having the wheels not roll. Having the wheels that roll, just I feel like it compromises the sturdiness of the undercarriage in the wheels themselves. I've had so many wheels come off because they were on the little bitty shaft that they put the wheels on, so they're allowed, so they can roll. So I will probably say one thing about Aero Classics that I like is that they haven't given in to rolling gear. That is, I believe that's a good thing. But I do like my aerials, so I wish they would change their mind about that. But that's a business decision on their part. And basically, you buy what you like. So anyway, we will move on from that one. Come back out here. All right. The next model we're going to look at is Gemini Jet's Virgin Atlantic A330-900neo in the I said Virgin Atlantic, didn't I? So you can see there, just standard Gemini jet box, close-up of the item number there, Golf Juliet Victor India Romeo 2181. And this one's registration, you can see here on the flap. Let me pull it out a little bit so you can pause if you want to read the flap. But this one's registration is Golf Victor Juliet Alpha Zulu. And let's get into this one. And like I said, I have not opened this one, so it could be a surprise. Hopefully we have an intact model. And here we go. Oh, it's looking good so far. Let's make sure it feels like it passes the pull test. So that's good. So here is the Virgin Atlantic A330-900neo. Bring my camera down a little bit. And I think this angle's a little bit better. Alright, bigger plane, so I'm not as zoomed in on it. Very nice. I love the coloring. I love the ruby red coloring on the engines and on the tail and on the wingtips. That's really nice. This airplane's name is Billie Holiday. So a little musical reference there. Can't help to think that that was the registration name was purposely done that way, or at least the name of the plane was purposely done for the registration number. So VJazz, and you got Billie Holiday. All right, we're done with the turn there. I don't have too much to say here. Gemini Jets always does a pretty decent job with their printing. Sometimes they get cockpit windows wrong. It looks like cockpit windows look good on this one. I'm not extremely familiar with this aircraft type, and I haven't seen a lot of actual A330-900s either in pictures or up close. But we'll kind of zoom, if it'll let me, kind of zoom in here on the. I forgot, this doesn't like to do more than about 10. Come on, focus in, please. Let's see if we can get it to focus in on this. Very good. Alright, so hopefully on a bigger screen you can see Billie Holiday there with the British flag flying behind her. The big Virgin Atlantic billboard titles across the fuselage. Those beautiful ruby red, I believe those are Rolls-Royce, but I can't remember. It probably says in the box, but your registration there, G-VJazz. And then the signature virgin tail there, also in ruby red. So another beautiful release from Gemini Jets. And so far anyway, this is probably the best mold of this aircraft type. I'm sure when NG gets theirs done, and I'm sure that they'll put one out, I'm sure it's probably going to be magnificent. Alright. So next on the docket, we have the much awaited, especially from retro people, retro collectors, the MD-83 and the TWA twin stripe. Here's the item number. So Golf Juliet Tango Whiskey Alpha 2009er. Now I will admit that the twin stripe livery is probably my least favorite livery. I really like the twin globe and I like the final livery, but I don't know, this one was always mega boring to me. But I do, although I'm not a heavy retro collector, I did, when this was put out, I realized I did need to get at least one of these. So that's why I have it. And here is the lid, if you want to read that, if you even can read it. The registration on this one is November 9303 Kilo. Alright, well, let's get into this one. Hopefully it's going to pass the sniff test here, so to speak. And it is also nice that Gemini did put at least one aerial on here. And it's looking pretty good. I pulled on the parts a little bit. Alright, I'm excited to get into this one. Wow, does that look nice. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, TWA MD-83. I'm not sure how many people will agree with me, but the mold that Dragon Wings used to have, I always liked that one better, even though when it came to Dragon Wings, control surfaces were plastic, and gear was usually plastic, and even the engines were probably plastic. I didn't really check to see if any of these control surfaces were plastic. I think I can safely say that the wings are definitely metal. Wow, this is a beautiful model. I almost feel like every YouTuber doing a channel like this, they almost always say whatever model that they're showing off is beauty. I don't even recall ever hearing someone say, "Oh my God, I can't believe I bought this piece of crap." I guess except for maybe some people who got the Aerolingus ATR-72. I didn't think it was that bad, other than the cockpit line was kind of gnarly. So as far as that's concerned, I get it. But almost all the time, you're going to hear us say that we love the model, because we're probably not buying anything that we don't like. Alright, so nose to tail here. And I don't know if anyone knows what this stripe is, because I've noticed it on every single TWA that has this stripe somewhere on the wing. I'll be very curious to know if there's some history to that, or why it's there and not on other airlines. I mean, it may be a TWA thing, but I have no idea why. Oops. Shoot. I got greedy and tried to get in a little bit closer, and it's not focusing. Not even focusing at 9.5. Dang it. Okay, it'll come back to focus now, I think. Sorry about that, guys. I hate spending time trying to get focused. And so you got the registration number right here, just behind the engine. So, I mean, for a twin stripe livery, it's nice, and I'm glad that Gemini Jets added an aerial, at least one aerial. I'm sure it had more than one, but Gemini Jets isn't known for putting aerials on the bottom of the aircraft, which is probably where the other most prominent aerial is. But at least we got one on this release. All right, so I better back out here so I can get to the next model before I run out of time. And our next model, so we got kind of a retro theme going on here, but this is kind of a, this is retro because of it's a retro livery, not because it's actually retro. So here we go. We got the Alaska Embraer ERJ 175, and it's in the Horizon Air retro livery, as you can see there. Here's a close-up of the item number for you. And that's a Golf Juliet Alpha Sierra Alpha 2174. The inside flap, if you wish to pause and read that. And this one's registration is November 652 Mike Kilo. So let's get this one out. Take a look at it. Again, Gemini is the only one in town that has any of these RJs. So their quality control and their molds certainly won't be voluntarily getting better until somebody challenges them or outright stops buying. But I mean, but it's good. I'm not saying this is bad. It's just I'm sure that it can be better than this. But again, I'm not extremely knowledgeable about how close to the actual shape this looks. So anyway, let's do the quick, oops, sorry, quick turn around here. Looks really good. All right, let's get this centered again. There we go. All right, and we'll get our as close up as we can here. Oops, that's too far. All right. All right, the tires are looking good. Paint scheme's looking good. Your Alaska titles there, kind of in a silver, and I'm sure you can probably see it on a bigger screen. I've got Horizon Air and White in the orange part of the cheat line there. And then the orange and red cheat line goes all the way back and disappears underneath down there. Got a little bit of livery detail there on the outside, let's see, and also on the inside of the little winglet there. Not winglet, I'm not sure what, I don't think these are winglets, but I don't know what they're called on this aircraft. And your registration right here. And then the old retro sun livery for the Horizon. So the orangey and the light orange there is the sun going down, and the red is the far part of the Horizon, and then you got the darker color there, which is supposed to be a little bit closer to the viewer. And then this nice APU, which is pretty well done. All right, so that does it for me. Thank you for, especially if you've gotten this far, thank you for watching the whole video. And if you like what you see, please like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.